Well, excuse me, Tiki. Tiki's that rather plump orange cat. She's sleeping underneath the stool. And so what do I have for you this morning? First of all, how about some controversial subjects? I was thinking today, because I was watching a few videos on pipe making of all things. Oh, I forgot the guy's name. But it was kind of peaceful watching another style of craftsman work. And these style of things. You know, what are our treasured objects? Well, one is this Preben Fancy. That's the Virgin smoking pipe. And Preben is no longer with us, and it's kind of amazing that if I'm looking at some things that I've bought in the past that have actually risen in value, you know, I can count the good buys I've made, but this is one. Bought this in Frankenmuth, the hometown of Greta Van Fleet. This really cool Preben pipe. And I don't smoke a pipe. I tried, you know, at one time, but that was back when I was a runner. That was back when I was manimal. I could run. I actually did 3 miles in 15 minutes flat on a PT test. 2 miles in I think it was a 11:42. I was a little bit older. And so I shied away from doing this thing. But when I'm 90 and probably my running days are behind me, I'll probably go back to it because I think they're neat. I think pipes are neat. And I like watching, you know, pipe makers at work. That's one controversial thing. The next, discussion on music. If you were just to simply listen to the radio, you would think there's no more great music being made. But then you go to YouTube and I don't have it. What is that other thing? Spotify and Pandora and stuff. There's a lot of really great music being played. It just doesn't make it to the commercial airwaves. And so I'm not too sure, of course. You know, George Thorogood and the Delaware Destroyers. Yeah. And I discovered Samantha, what is her name? Samantha Fish. And 2 days ago, I discovered a band. And they call it, I think, what is it? Forgot the name of what they call it, but anyway, the genre, the Texas Hippie Coalition. Check out the Texas Hippie Coalition Moonshine. And I don't know why, because I watch so many different videos. I'm watching, like, let's just say Antifa or Antifa, you know, they got their little ninja suits on and they're kind of, in a manner of speaking, kind of, it strikes me as cosplay. Well, take a Texas Hippie Coalition concert and match it against Antifa. There's just something about that that really makes me chuckle. On the bows. Oh, sorry, Tiki. First of all, I make bows once in a while. You know, I'll make bows that sometimes just are like, yeah. You know, you shoot them and it's just like, yeah. I'm going to explain it. Well, it so happens that I was out flight shooting this bad boy yesterday, stump shooting. Now I have to repair one of my arrows because flight shooting means that they hit rocks, you know, at high speeds. They go up fast and they come down fast. And it kind of doinked the end, but it did not destroy it. I just need to saw off the end in front of or behind the cartridge and then just stick the cartridge back on. So, Derek, your arrows survive rocks. I just need to help it out a little bit. But anyway, between 45 and 50 pounds at 28 inches of draw. I was probably doing a few flight shooting at 29. This is a tough bow. And I was puzzling over the string. I've got a salt and pepper on here. It's really hard to see. I kind of like that. This is a killer bow. This really is a killer bow. It just has that feeling of high speed and high energy, even though it's a 50-pound bow. It feels heavier as far as how fast it responds. Badass bow. Sorry, not really family friendly, but this is a badass bow. And rawhide, a thicker skin of rawhide. I mean, deer has its limits. I get thinner skins and thicker skins. This is thicker. Let's just see that. Beautiful. Beautiful, like perfect bias grain. Signed right here, and then a name right there, Misha Igwe. And I'm not going to explain that, it's personal, but I felt it necessary to write that on that bow because it is a BA bow. I'm going to put a handle on it, hand grip, hand wrap. Not too sure on that, but whatever it is will go along nicely. If you are looking for a BA paddle bow, P-Diddle, JR P-Diddle, with the Raven pattern on there, then you've got, what did I agree on? Let's see here. I want to just throw shipping in within the continental US. $285. It's a hell of a deal on this thing. This is a BA bow. I may not have mentioned that. $285 shipping included within the continental US, and it's not completely finished yet. I do need to put a hand wrap on there, and also one more coat of Helmsman on the belly. I'm going to hit this. It could be considered finished right now, but this deserves like the ultimate. Hit it with probably 600 to really smooth it out, and then put a third very thin coat on there just to make it like butter, smooth as butter. This is exciting. This is an exciting bow. Art in motion. I'm not worthy. This is a bow. Okay, now on to this one. The easy part now is just to turn it into a 45-pound bow. The hard part was what you were about to see, and it is extremely subtle. Now that Raven bow, boom, pattern pops out. But you don't need to be super obvious to be relevant. And so I did. Figured out what I'm going to put on here, and I done did it. Okay, folks, and you can see the obvious things right here. You can see that little three-wing spiral. And I was actually talking to David in Ireland, and he was talking about Celtic designs and mentioned that a big thing on this is actually the solar system, the movement of everything around us. I'm a big thing, you know, mind, body, spirit is one. But in the case of bows, you've heard it before, what I really enjoy about bows, which is really meaningful to me, is if you have a stone point and you've got sinew on the bow, and you've got a wooden bow, you've got animal, vegetable, and mineral, and that's, you know, a basic, you know, animal, vegetable, and mineral, but how basic is that to the state of everything? So I got to thinking, following that, and you can draw your own conclusions. In fact, you might want to think of this pattern, this ending pattern, in white. What am I getting at that? I'm going to be as slow as possible to try to reflect. And hopefully you can see the copper. I love metallic paints. Copper, a stylized arrow, and you might not be able to see that. It really, in the sunlight, shines through. You're going to have to take my word for it. It's really cool. I've got the lines for the fletching. I've got the arrowhead up there. Bow, arrow, string. You know, that, as far as, you know, one thought is that that's a 2-ply reverse twisted bowstring, and so you can think of it as that way. Now I also went in, I was talking earlier about various runic languages, right? And if you see them, you can draw similarities between our written word, our characters A through Z, and runic languages. So it's like, why am I going to like pick like yesterday's greatest word in the world and write it in runes, you know, where the A doesn't look like an A and the E doesn't look like an E and various things like that. I decided upon writing it in English, but taking the letters and making them look rune-like with, you know, just almost cuneiform in a way. And I put my word there. I put my word. And it's right side up on the left. And again, talking about spirals, if it's right side up here, spirals. Hopefully you can see that. In Tuscan red, Endeavor. I love that. Same color as this. The same color as blood in a way. You know, what is the purpose of this? Endeavor, what does that mean to you? I mean, at the basic bow level, it's like to kill something. So I've got the red invested in the hair. But it also goes on to other things. One of my favorite movies, Little Big Man. If you remember, there was a scene with Chief Dan George, and he said the greatest line in cinematic history, always endeavor to persevere. And so endeavor, I love it. Okay, folks, so now I'm done talking to you. It is time for me to go down to the barn of poles, the pole barn, break out sanding paper and such. And it's kind of funny when you think about it. The easiest process is turning it into a working bow. It was actually harder to figure out what to put there. This is so sweet. And I truly wish that you were able to see it firsthand, because it is very old looking. It is very beautiful, and that copper really comes out, especially in the daylight. And one interesting facet of the colors and the patterns that I chose here is that you see different things depending on the light, the quality. Not, it's great light or bad light, just the kind of light. Different parts kind of poke out at you, so it's nifty in that way. That is enough. That is enough. I'm done burdening you with listening to me drone on and on incessantly. Have a good day. Thank you for watching. That is all.